We have our chairperson on the line, Professor Ibokojuru. Thank you so much for joining today's session. And good afternoon, everyone. Happy Mubarak too. I believe and hope you are enjoying the national break from work today. Thank you so much for joining today's nutritional session. On behalf of the Wellness Center management and staff, I welcome you to our maiden virtual nutrition segment for the year 2024. And I'm super excited to have you here, and I'm believing that this year's time with the dietitian will be insightful, interactive, and fun. Last year, we were privileged to host and interact with some skilled professionals, both local and international, on certain nutrition-related topics, such as kidney health and nutrition and diabetes, among many interesting topics. And this year promises to be nothing but much better than last year's virtual session. Now, before we begin, I would like us to have a word of prayer and also assure you that this is a safe place to learn and unlearn certain nutritional concepts. So feel free to pen down all your questions with regards to today's topics so that our facilitator and other able professionals or dietitian can address them after her presentation. Okay, so together in one faith, I would like to lead a prayer so that we can start today's program right away. Okay, so our Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the gift of life today and a time like this to gather and receive sound knowledge in nutrition. It is our hope that at the end of this presentation, we would understand and use the knowledge shared by our presenter wisely to the benefit of our young ones you gift us in this life. Thank you for answering our prayer. In Jesus' name we pray with thanksgiving. Amen. Okay, so joining us today is a great and amazing clinical practitioner in the field of nutrition. And she's by name Mrs. Efua. Her Efua is with an E. Efua Owusu-Ansah. She's a registered and licensed dietitian and a principal dietitian in one of the Ghana's biggest referral centers. I mean the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital. She has been a dietitian since 2012, and she's also the CEO of Enjoy Your Health Consult and MELGoshen Foods, with the aim of providing professional and nutritional services and products for the general public. Her passionate interests are dietary management of NCDs. When I talk of NCDs, I mean non-communicable diseases like diabetes, hypertension, pediatric nutrition, and health service delivery. She's a sound Christian and married to a medical doctor by name Dr. Michael Owusu-Ansah, and together they have a son. She's a proud children's service ministry teacher, so I believe she is the best person to tackle this topic, since we all know that if we are nourishing our spirits, we need that spirit to be embodied in a good or a sound body, a sound body. So together with a virtual round of applause, please join me as I welcome RD Mrs. Efua Owusu-Ansah.
In relation to nutrition for infants and school-aged children. Okay, so I'm hoping that by the end of this presentation, I'll be able to give you some of the prevalence of micronutrient deficiency, because in Ghana, macronutrients is not really an issue. For kwashiorkor and all the others, it's not as much as the micronutrients, which I'm going to embed in with all the other aspects of healthy eating. I'll also give the importance of the micronutrients for healthy nutrition for this group of people. Then food sources of these micronutrients, as well as practical strategies to prevent micronutrients in children. Globally, 40% of children less than 5 are said to be anemic, and greater than 50% of children less than 5 have micronutrient deficiencies. 190 million children affected by vitamin A deficiency. And when you talk about nutrition, no nutrient is super golden or beneficial on its own. They sync with other nutrients to optimize their benefits to the body. So if these statistics are there, that means whichever nutrients that iron or vitamin A or folate or folic acid are supposed to work with for us to get its benefits, they are either not there or they are also deficient. Then 17.3% to 30% of the population are at high risk of zinc deficiency. And we know the role of zinc in terms of immunity as well as bone health and other aspects of our health. Specifically, children who have enough or normal levels of zinc, they don't pretty much have increased number or episodes of diarrhea. So it's something, is a nutrient that is really needed when it comes to immunity or nutrition in children. That's why now even the oral rehydration salt, they've added zinc to it to help protect the children at least for 3 months, so that they won't have diarrhea that will also cause them issues. Okay. What are the importance of these nutrients? We are talking about nutrition. So what are the importance of these nutrients to these children? And infants, we are talking about not the toddlers. So far as they've started eating, they've started. So we start from after exclusive breastfeeding. And I'm going to talk up to when they are in their teens at the SHS levels. We consider them as children so far as they've not gotten to 18. And I'll tell you the reasons why. Enzyme production. For enzymes to work or to be in their right levels, they are pivotal or foundational items they need come from our nutrition. So a child or any human being who has optimum nutrition, you also find that the enzymes that they need to metabolize the nutrients are also in their right levels and quantities as well. The hormones, for us to be males and females, these children are now growing. So they need that foundational, strong foundation in terms of nutrition to help them get their right levels of hormones in place, so that in their pubertal and their childbearing ages, they don't have any issue, whether female or male. Then healthy growth and development. Later, I have a slide that shows that for someone to be fertile or productive, or for someone to have these cardiovascular diseases, it starts from childhood. And so good nutrition, one of the importance is to help healthy growth and development. Disease prevention. I will expand on that as we go on. But the one I just mentioned in terms of diarrhea, for instance, children who are exclusively breastfed and introduced very well to complementary feeds with nutrient-dense meals, those children are rarely sick. If they get sick, it's nothing so serious that they have to be admitted. And that's the importance or the benefits that we derive from nutrition. Then the well-being, general well-being, the definition of good health or health, according to WHO, is not just the absence of disease. For you to have quality of life, for you to even wake up and smile, because there are some people they wake up, nobody has done anything to them, but the chemicals in their brains are not in their right levels. So someone will tell you, I'm depressed, I'm sad, whilst there's no trigger. These are hormonal and chemical issues that if you are to eat well, because eating very well, enjoying your meal alone releases some of the happy hormones like endorphins, and you are eating and you are happy. I've never seen anyone who is enjoying food and the person is sad. You are always happy, and when you are done, you feel so at peace, no matter the situation that you find yourself. So good nutrition is also able to help improve our well-being as human beings. So nutrition across the childhood years. This first picture you see of this pregnant woman, at first we thought that, oh, when you do exclusive breastfeeding and at first we used to mention weaning them and introducing the family foods. Those are the crucial moments. But now we know that for a child or someone to be healthy in their adulthood, it starts when they are in the womb of their mothers. So now we have something we call nutrigenetics and nutrigenomes. We know that healthy eating is somehow able to impact even on our DNA. And whatever the mother eats or exposes the child to during when the child is a fetus in the womb has effects on the health and the general well-being of the child when they grow up. Typically, a woman who is diagnosed to be gestational diabetic or to have gestational diabetes, it is known by research that such a woman is likely that she herself, even if after pregnancy the blood sugars normalize, she is at higher risk of having diabetes after 10 years of being diagnosed gestational diabetic. And the baby in the womb, the short and intermediate issue will be that the baby will be big in the womb, and it will be difficult for the mother to have vaginal delivery. So there should be C-section. The future effect of the high blood sugar of the mother when the baby was in the womb is that the baby is also at a higher risk of having diabetes. Not just because it's in the family, but because of the baby's exposure to high blood sugar in the womb. And we know that hereditary issues and genetic issues, DNA issues are there. But I think I mentioned here the last time that these factors that are not modifiable, they have their impact. But till it is triggered, it is like bullets in a gun. So other factors trigger them. They are lying dormant. And they might never be expressed throughout your life. But if the lifestyle factors of which nutrition plays a bigger role comes in, then whatever bullets that are in the gun can be released and all these conditions will come in. You realize there are some families, you guess all of them having hypertension or all of them having diabetes. But there are others too, you will get some not being diagnosed, not that they don't have the genetic predisposition, but because maybe they are exercising well, they are sleeping well, they are managing their stress very well, they are eating healthy. So those triggers are not there to ignite the non-modifiable factors to do their work of bringing conditions in. Then after the baby is born, we don't have a lot of specialists in breastfeeding in Ghana, but I think any nutritionist or dietitian should be able to guide, because the best foundation that you can give a baby, I would say even investment, is it will be the exclusive breastfeeding. You see that when we were children, we started, our parents never did exclusive breastfeeding, but we survived. But you realize that even the kind of air that we used to breathe, the type of fish. I come from Winneba, and from the seaside, you ask the old women, they will tell you the taste of fish, fresh fish, has even changed. And these are because of the pollution that we find in our environment. Many things have changed. So if we can give the first 6 months of a child's life exclusively breastfeeding from their mother's breast, it will be the best investment we can give to the child. And someone ironically asks, have you ever seen a dog going for a cat milk to give to their puppies? Or have you seen a cow going for another animal's milk to feed their young? It's never done in the animal kingdom, but in our own wisdom, we think that we can bring in a cow's milk or a goat milk or a plant-based milk to feed someone who is also a human being. God in his own way has made everything solid in the breast. Anything that a child needs, it is there. And mothers who are able to follow it, you realize that the exclusive breastfeeding time, so far as you, the mother, you are sleeping well, you are hydrating very well, you are eating very well, the blood is flowing all at all the places it should. You realize that the breast milk will flow. And as it flows, you are not going to put on any cooker. It's not now that you are going to think of the combination of food items to bring together to make a meal that will be palatable for your child to eat. That first 6 months, I think God gave it to us to also relax and enjoy our children. If you need to express, you express so that other people can also feed the child. And aside the feeding, the bonding that the mother also has with the child is something that no money can buy. You can't buy it from anywhere. Now, because of our busy lifestyle, even if the child is willing to take the breast milk, our unavailability and rushing to do our stuff will make the child withdraw or not eat, or you as the mother refuse to give because you are busy, or there are alternatives that you give to the child. So it is something that we need to consider if we are bringing out young children. So exclusive breastfeeding is the first line of feeding the young. Then it comes to whether you use formula. Which formulas are you going to use? You need to be advised. And some people also are even postulating that babies who are formula fed, they are of high likelihood of having a lot of allergies. Because as I mentioned earlier, you are bringing cow's milk to a human being. Although we know it's edible and we have benefits in it, but the first few months is a crucial time for the child to enjoy what the mother has produced or God has produced through the mother. But if in the rare cases that the breast milk is not there genuinely, and the only alternative is formula, there are very good formulas around that we can use to also help the child grow well. And during complementary meals, most of us, we are using our knowledge, what we think is best for the child. So we cook a lot of things that overwhelms the child's body. In fact, I've met some families who even never added formula milk to the porridges of their children. What they did was that they expressed breast milk, made the porridges of their children thicker, so that when they mix the breast milk with the porridge, the consistency will be what the child needs. And their children have grown, never taking any formula powder or a formula milk, and they are well. But if we need to use these formula powders, there are ways of mixing them. If you overmix them, the child can have diarrhea. If you undermix them, that means you are trying to make them super rich because you can afford it, and the child will grow to be fatty bomb bomb. Everybody will say that my child is looking nice. If that is the case, then the child will start having constipation. So you just have to get the right balance. There are scoops in the powder, and normally they are mixed into ounces when you look at the bottle. So it's mixed in maybe 30 mils or 60 mils, or depending on the formula that you are using. And during the complementary feeding too, for you to know the meals or the food items your child reacts to or does not like the taste, it's best to introduce the meals based on single foods. So some parents, because at that time you are still somehow fully breastfeeding, you are just including one or two food items to help introduce the child to family foods. So there are some families where they do carbohydrates, maybe the first week. So if it is corn porridge, they will do the corn porridge. The child will take it with the breast milk, and they will see how the child takes it. Then the next one will be mashed yam with their formula or with the breast milk. The next one, so all the carbohydrate choices. At the end of the day, you will know the ones your child likes and the ones that your child doesn't like. Then the next week, they go into protein foods. And remember, although the child needs these introduction of food items, they are getting more of their nutrients from the breast milk. That is just right after the exclusive breastfeeding. So you introduce the protein. With that, you can mash steamed fish and just mix it or give it to the child without any milk. So the child would even develop the taste buds of the child. The child knows this is fish without any adulterations. Then you can do a chicken mix. Just chicken, the skinned chicken, then you boil it without any spices, maybe a little salt, and you blend it. You give it to the child knows, and you are talking to the child, this is chicken. So next time when you mention chicken, that cue is there in the brain that I'm going to eat chicken. Then meat, the cow meat. The cow meat, you realize even when you blend it, is a little lumpy. So you realize the child will be bringing out the tongue, trying to bring the lumps out. With all these things, you are trying to introduce and open their minds to the different taste. Then you come to the plant proteins. The plant, you realize that I've taken egg out. Mostly children under 1 year who are introduced to egg, and I have a better experience. At 9 months, I said, oh, let me add egg to my baby's porridge. And oh, within minutes, I even snapped a picture. I should have added it to this slide. He all the skin broke out with some rashes, his face, in his hair, just because of the egg. We didn't give him any food. We didn't give him any medication. I just withdrew that meal and everything normalized. So children before 1 year, specifically, are not supposed to be given egg. Some people will take the albumin out and just add the yolk. But from my experience, I will not try to experiment with that. Then we come to the plant proteins. You introduce the child to beans, to nuts. Oh, this is nuts. And I say nuts because countries where they do nut allergy, if I'm saying it in trees, like, oh, JJ adiene so. I know of Israel to prevent childhood nut allergies. They have developed these corn, the snack that when you put it in your mouth, it melts. It's a corn, it's like popcorn, but it's yellowish. They have developed some and covered it with nuts. So as soon as you go to the child welfare clinic, you are served with that to introduce your child to it. They know that the child will break out, but as you continually give it, the child will get immune to it and be able to fight any allergens that this will develop. But if you withdraw and say that I gave it to, and the child didn't react very well with this, that is it. So, and after some time, if the child accidentally eats anything that has nuts, you realize that if their respiration, it affects everything. Their skin breaks out and many other factors. So let's introduce these ones, the ones that we identify that the child is allergic to, not that we are stopping. Once in a while, try to introduce it and see whether the child reacts the same way, so that we are not imprisoning ourselves or the children from taking some foods, because they can't be with us all the time. What about if they go for a party and in our setting, nobody will label a food that it was done in a plant where there was nuts? Nobody. So you realize that the child will be exposed to it and it will be an emergency case. So with the complementary feeding, it is done gradually. Please don't use your own appetite to measure the child's appetite. Don't use the amount of food that your family members eat, and you realize some mothers will come, my child is not eating at all, and you ask, okay, which quantity? The child's stomach is small. It's whatever the child is eating, so far as it is nutrient dense, it is enough. Even if the child can eat 5 spoons, is enough. And you top it up with the breast milk. So let's not push food down their throat, holding their noses because they are not eating very well. Then you make the environment of eating something that they will dread all the time. As soon as they see you with a spoon, they start crying. But let's look at the family at the right-hand side. You realize that even the toddler, everybody has their seat. In Ghana, most people, they'll have the baby on the lap. But you are trying to, this is a family thing, and they'll be looking at you, observing what you are eating, and will be imitating. So let's give them that room to express themselves. So far as they are eating small, frequent meals, it can be 6 times a day. So not eating so much at a time, it shouldn't be a problem. But let's take our own upbringing and our own, oh, my first child, this is how he was. How come you are not like that? They are all different. So far as the child is not sick, the weight has not gone lower than what is normal, please let your child be, and let your child be happy with whatever you are eating. My son's weight never went above the average. If I say above his weight for height and his weight for age, it never went. It was exactly at that point. And when you see him, it's like so lanky, but the weight is enough for his age. And he never falls sick. He never does anything. So you never force food to this end, because then you make food something that they will dread all the time. Unfortunately, in Ghana, if children do not find themselves in private schools or schools that are endowed or homes that are endowed, these are the meals that they are exposed to. more of carbohydrates, very low protein. And I was sad, I don't know whether some of us can pick it up. I was sad to see a meal that has been served at an SHS school. I won't mention the name of the school, but they were going to eat rice with granule soup. It was a boys' school, and you see about 12 boys on around one table, and their soup was less than, if I'm not joking, less than 6 soup ladles. And there was one medium size of mackerel in the soup. That was what the children were going to eat. And a recent information I had, even from all the top schools, is that they are eating virtually about 2 types of meals every day of the week. So it is either wache or kenke or so. That's the solid meals. That's the only thing they eat every day of the week. So as a parent, you can afford, but the school principals will not allow you to send food, or even the location will not allow you to send food. This is the time that as a nation, if we see these children as the future of our country, their nutritional status, which affects their brain and their thinking capacity, should also be looked at. And you go the school feeding program. I visited another school. A whole bowl of rice has been prepared for one class, and the stew that was supposed to, the stew did not have any protein, so it's just very light tomato stew. If I say light consistency, and it was just a small bowl. I took a picture of it. So it's almost like 2 teaspoons of stew on each child's meal. That's what we find ourselves in. So I think either we are doing it or we are not doing it at all. But there are some communities that's also the best meal that the child will eat for that day. So we just have to look at the profile of each community and see those who can afford and those who can't afford. And let's see how we can all come together to help our young ones eat well. So what are the components of foods or meals that make the nutrition of our children, the infants and children, more healthy? Fat-soluble vitamins. So the fat-soluble vitamins are the ADEK, vitamin A, D, E, and K. These are very crucial because they form what we call the antioxidants. And they are in our green leafy vegetables, they are in our fishes, they are in our some of the fruit, carrots, the milk, some of the oils. These are nutrients that we find we can categorize as fat-soluble vitamins, or we can get these vitamins from. But you realize that most of our children don't even like vegetables. And I did a little experiment, and I realized that they don't like vegetables because they don't see, we push it on them, but they don't see us enjoying it in the house. So if it is nice, why is it that you are not eating it and you are pushing it down my throat? Once there was a man who was eating and his vegetables had no salad dressing. But the way he was really talking about, this vegetable is nice, this vegetable is nice. The son was standing by and got attracted and said, Daddy, what are you eating? Are you sure it's nice? Then the man, genuinely, he was enjoying it. The man gave him some of the vegetable, and the son said, and when you taste the carrot, it's sweet, but the cabbage is like this. Oh, it's crunchy. And from that time, they even fight over vegetables. So it is something that it has to be a whole family affair. If it is good, we should all eat it. and we belittle the mentality or the mindset of children. If you talk to them about the benefit, we are not just eating to fill our stomach. Tell them, they learn at school, like theoretically, vitamin C, it helps wound healing, this, it does this. But if you sit them down, I'm giving you this because of this and this and this. When you eat this, your skin, even with your brain, which they want to score high in school. So these will help with your brain. They understand. The days they don't want to eat it too, we'll just let them be. But as babies, when we are even introducing them to the meals, what we can do is to blend the vegetables into the meal. After all, plant-based foods, when you blend them, the body is able to maximize the benefit from it than the cut ones. Because the child cannot even masticate it well for the cells to be exposed for the body to get the benefit. So if you blend them, I say that it's a one we are open. If you don't chew it, you will drink it. And with that, the child will get all the benefit from it. And we shouldn't take meals as meals. I've seen some people introducing complementary meals where they have mixed even corn porridge with kontomire. It is a combination. It's like I'm eating my cocoa with salad, because the kontomire is also vegetable. And the person mixed it and added the milk, and that is a meal. So let's explore with these nutrients, bring them in our homes. The seeds, these ones, you realize economically, it's not everybody who can afford it. The sesame seeds, pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, the cashew, and the others. Let's not wait to be an elderly person before we try to salvage the situation where we've been diagnosed with something. Then the sources of vitamin A. We know vitamin A is very crucial for their eyes. So the first thing is vision. And no food item has has only one benefit. As we go on, you realize that even meat, I mentioned fish. Fish is also at the fat-soluble vitamin. That's the vitamin A. The vision that we are getting from the vitamin A, these food items can give us the vitamin A for our vision. Reproduction, I said, is the foundation. So if you want to be a grandmother or a grandfather in the near future, start building the reproductive system of your child from childhood, from their infancy. Sweet potato, for instance, in Kumasi, most people don't like it. And because the adults don't like it, they don't also bring it in the house. A serving, about 100 grams of sweet potato is providing more than 200% of the recommended daily allowance or the dietary allowance for an adult. So that means if these food items are in season, if sweet potato is in season, I would rather prefer you mashing sweet potato and doing potompoto or something for a child, which the child will enjoy better than the Irish potato, which we think that it's tasty. But you realize that it's not as healthy as the sweet potato, which is even sweeter in taste. Then we have the bone health, which these food items, and you realize, apart from meat and fish, all these are plant-based. And we know for sources of proteins, food items that are healthy, plant-based ones are known to have more cardiovascular benefits. So bone health, where we are getting calcium, we are getting vitamin D, also adding up for us to be healthy. Then our immune system in general, I told you that the fat-soluble vitamins, the ADEK, A, D, E, and K, are known to have the antioxidant benefits, and it's part of our immune system. Then our skin. For a child, the skin of a child to be healthy, it's not about the pomade that you put on the child's skin. Rather, it's what you put in the system of the child. So if the child is eating very well, you can be using kuto, you can be using whatever, the child's skin will glow. And it's not that you are doing anything special or buying any expensive pomade. It will glow on its own because it is coming from inside out. Then the vitamin D, the fish is also here again, the egg yolk, meat, milk, and the cereal that has been fortified, then the drinks that have been fortified, which I'll talk about. So vitamin D is giving us bone health, calcium absorption. So you can eat this. If there's not enough calcium in your meal, then the vitamin D will not be well absorbed, or the calcium will not be well absorbed. They go together. Our immune system is also part. The vitamin E, which is more of the oils and the green leafy vegetables and our nuts. Now, avocado is in season, is a healthy oil that is coming from it, but we know that too much oil too has its own benefits and disadvantage as well. So we should eat, but we should eat with caution. We should include it in their meals and they will enjoy it. Children being children does not mean that they can eat a lot of oily and fatty foods. Their oil levels or fat intake should be almost like that of a child, because you are training the child for their adulthood. Most of us, the things we are doing now, we got it from our parents. We got it from how our mom was cooking. We've tweaked it a little, but when your mom comes, she will know that you learned this from me. So whatever we want them to grow into adulthood with, that's what we are supposed to train them now with. Olive oil, which we know is good. Coconut oil is also good. Sunflower oil and all those oils. Olive oil, coconut oil are known to help with good cholesterol. They help to increase the good cholesterol that is able to fight against the bad cholesterol. But I won't use olive oil or coconut oil to fry my fish or to fry my yam,
But
because
spinach is
it
not
has a low
vitamin E.
burning point.
Spinach
I'd
is not
rather use the sunflower. It's
vitamin E.
like you using palm oil to fry your cocoa. You will see the smoke coming out, and that
Smoke.
shows the deterioration of the oil, and that develops more trans fat in it, which destroys the heart. Mostly we see children as children, but it's also known that the plaques that lines our vessels, it starts laying in our vessels from the age of 10 years. So when we give the excuse, oh, this one is a child, allow. Oh, I want KFC and you're going to buy. I want this and you're going to buy. You realize that at the end of the day, you are doing more harm than good. Aside the physiological impact of it, you have also trained the tongue and the child's mind that in adulthood, whenever they get money, I'm going to buy pizza, I'm going to buy this, because that's what they've been trained with. So the immune system comes here, flashes toxins, vitamin E. So those of us adults who will do different concoctions and say that I'm detoxifying my body, God has in his own wisdom provided meals or food items as well as the system in our body. There is nothing as detoxifying as drinking a lot of water. The liver has been prepared, or the work of the liver is to detoxify the body, detoxify the blood. So whatever toxins that you've breathed in or you've eaten that passes through the blood and it goes through the liver is detoxified. But you just need a lot of water to flush it through the kidney so that the kidney will also be healthy. The other type of flushing or detoxifying is fasting. But in children, we are not going to introduce them to fasting. Maybe when they are in the 10, some families on Sunday mornings, they won't eat till they come back that is also part of the detoxifying. And these are all healthy, but vitamin E intake is known to flush toxins also out of our bodies. Vitamin K, with vitamin K, all the leafy green vegetables. So the ayoyo, alefu, boko boko, shure, these are all, and the middle one, I think that's boko boko. It's even a nuisance. As soon as you get one in your backyard, it's pressed out. And these are healthy leaves that if we are to include in our meals, don't let the meals, I'll talk about it later. Let's look at the kohunsusa. Kohunsusa can go into stews, not just abom, your tomato stew, your soups. It can be everywhere, and the child can get the benefit from these vegetables. And when they are younger, they don't understand very well. You can blend it, and they can eat it while swallowing, and not necessarily chewing the food. So it's also good for bone health as well as blood clotting. We know that as they are running around, they will get hurt, they are bleeding. If their vitamin K level is good, don't be worried about infections and others. The wound will heal faster than someone whose vitamin K level is not that healthy. And when we even go back with the vitamin D, the future health, I think last 2 years or 3 years, a study that was, a number of studies have been conducted in Ghana, identifying the vitamin D levels of Ghanaians. And they recorded more than 47% deficiency of vitamin D in Ghana. And it is linked, vitamin D is linked to our immune system as well as whether or not you get hypertension. So if I'm able to give my child enough vitamin D rich foods, and we are not exposed to the sun so much, at least I know that my child will get these nutrients that will protect them. Then the vitamin C and B. You go to a place and they serve Fanta, Coke, and the others. I'll prefer that. And most of the time, you realize the adult will go for the malt and give the Fanta to the children. Malt has a lot of B vitamins because of all the cereals and the malts and the barley that has been used. So I would say malt even is more nutritive. I think a can of malt has 11 grams of sugar. The carbohydrate, the total carbohydrate is 13 grams. When you compare it to the Fanta and the Coke, and especially those colored drinks that are in bottles nowadays, the sugar levels are a lot. Vitamin B and C are known to be water soluble. So that means if I have a vegetable like tomatoes, before using it in my salad, I've soaked it in water because I'm scared of the insecticides and the weedicides. So I soak my tomatoes in water for a minute, 30 minutes. There's exchange of content between the vegetable and the water. You realize that you end up throwing your vitamin C and your vitamin B away, and it's left with your fiber and other vitamins that are not water soluble. So we see that it's true that we decide it's really a national issue, but we have a way of washing our vegetables. We don't soak them in water, wash them under running water a number of times. Make sure that you've washed it very well, about minimum of 2 times. And the third time, you either set your vinegar water or your salt water and you rinse it for the last time. Don't soak it. I've seen videos of people, I soak it in water to take it. It's opportunity cost. You are losing something to gain something. But you can equally do it in terms of cleaning it in a different way that will still maintain the nutrient. So these are the sources of vitamin B and vitamin C. The lemon, the lime, all the citrus fruits, tangerine, orange, then our peanuts, our chicken, and all the others have a lot of vitamin B in it. And these are food items that we need to intentionally include in our meals. Then we come to the macro minerals. The macro minerals, we know calcium, which I've already mentioned that in the presence of calcium, vitamin for the body to absorb calcium, vitamin D is needed. We have copper, we have iron, we have magnesium, manganese, phosphorus. When you think about these things, and I don't know whether you've looked at some of the medications that you are on, some are just magnesium, some are just potassium, so if I can get these from food and introduce my children to it, you realize that there are many adulthood diseases that even if it will come, it will be better managed compared to someone whose nutritional status is not good. Manganese, for instance, they've mentioned tea, but garlic, cashew, children I know will love cashew. If they can't chew it, you can blend it and it becomes more milky than even granuts. And you add it to their porridge. It's very healthy. Then we have pumpkin. Pumpkin is in Ghana. We have, which other, when we talk about potassium, we have all our green leafy vegetables. Kontomire has a lot of potassium. We have, now that I'm talking, I've forgotten all my potassium-rich foods, but even coconut has a lot of potassium. Yam has a lot of potassium. Orange has a lot of potassium. These are all food items that we have in our system that we can include in our meals. Phosphorus, very good for sulfur, magnesium, sodium, and chloride. Then we have the micro ones, iodine, and we know thyroid to be linked to iodine. Hyperthyroidism is linked to iodine. Now, most of our salts are fortified with our iodine, but I know some of us too have been pushed to go for the raw sea salt that has not been fortified with iodine. And it's something that we have to look at. I know there are some sea salt that have been fortified. If we can look at that one, we will get more benefit from even adding a small amount of salt to the meal than not adding anything at all. The zinc, iron, copper, manganese, fluoride, which is good for the teeth, selenium, these are all food items that we can harness these benefits to help with the growth of the child. There's even yogurt here as well. But just that with the kids, if I'm giving a child yogurt, if it's a drinking yogurt, I'll be mindful of the sugar content of the yogurt. If I'm giving Greek yogurt, then I'm mixing it with either mango or any of these fruits that I've mentioned that are pregnant with these micronutrients, and the child will still benefit from them. So now let's look at the practical strategies that we can use to feed them. The first is the eating environment. We don't have time. Every child will love to eat if there is playtime. So if it's not the family that is eating together and you are feeding the child alone, please have time. If you also need to eat, what I was doing was, as I'm feeding, my food is also there. So I run after you I put the food in your mouth. By the time you finish swallowing it, I would have finished eating about 2 spoonfuls of my own food. So I'll be killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Let it be a playful time. Look at what your child likes best. My son liked aeroplanes. So I told him a story and told him that was when we were starting meals, that his mouth was the airport and the spoon with the food was the aeroplane. So sometimes I'll run in the sitting room with the aeroplane, then it's coming to land or it will crash. Then he will open his mouth and I'll put the food in. Remember, it's a nutrient-dense meal. So even if I'm able to do that rounds, and it's even good for me, I'm exercising. If I'm able to do that 5 times, the child is able to eat that food and says, I won't eat again. Let the child be. Don't force feed. Just some few hours, 2 hours, you can try it again and see. So I think it would be best to really have time for our kids. If we are sending them to school early, let's fetch or get a school that will have time to really feed them without force feeding them. then when the entire family is eating, if the child sees, oh, whenever we come together and we are eating, it's an enjoyable time. Mommy is laughing, daddy is laughing, everybody is joking around. We are thankful to God. It's a wonderful time that I see all my family members together. Let's create that environment. Even with our SHS children who are knowing that when they come home, let's build that tradition in the house. I know Ghana, we used to have that at least evening meal. The entire family even ate in one bowl, one asanka. And you get some taking more meat than the others. They are fighting. It's all part of the bonding. Let's create a very good eating environment. Then there should be balance. The balance is that I know the child should have some protein, some carbohydrate, some fat and oils, and these micronutrients I mentioned. Have I represented enough of these food groups in the meal? Is there a balance? Or do I think I have more money so I can bring in more protein? Remember, for a child to digest and metabolize protein, they need protein of their own to digest whatever you've given. So what I have, I give. So if you've given me so much protein, I don't have enough protein to use to digest what you have given me, then you are burdening my system. And now we are having a lot of Winnimies that they want to make it tasty. So they add a lot of soy beans to it. But the proportion is 4 parts of cereal to 1 part of legume or nut. So if I'm adding legume and nut to my Winimix or my Tom Brown, then if I fetch 4 parts or 4 cups of my cereal, it can be rice, it can be wheat, it can be whatever, then I'll take half cup of beans and half cup of granite. And that is enough for the system of the child and even for adults as well. With that combination, you can get all the protein from the corn, all the protein and carbohydrate from the nut and granite as well. So let's not just go for taste. What is enough for the system of the child? And that should also help with the nutritional status of the child. Then variety. Now, we are letting the children dictate to us what they will eat. And because we also don't have time, we just do their bidding for them. It's all about rice and fries. Rice, 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 rice. You try any other food. I've not eaten this before. We have many food or meals in Ghana that are rich in nutrients. If we are to introduce this, I think last I mentioned there are anti-nutritional properties with every food. So if you get stuck to one food, if you get stuck to one food, that means whatever is anti-nutritional with that particular food, you are exposing yourself continually to that food or to that chemical. But assuming today I eat this, tomorrow I change it. It can be the same stew, but I've changed the carbohydrate bit of it. At least there is a little difference, and my exposure to whatever is anti-nutritional will be minimized. And the different taste as well. So let's bring in the variety. Let's introduce you are using your own money to buy the food. Let them understand that you are not giving them poison. You should all eat and enjoy. And as you bring that in, you create memories in the house and in their minds as well, that when they grow, they will also try to bring these in. It should be nutrient dense. These babies, in fact, when they grow, their stomach is, as newborn is about 30 mils. Just look, 30 mils is about 3 tablespoons. That's their stomach size. That's why they keep feeding. And their food, the breast milk is also water-based. So as they are drinking, they are urinating and it is coming out. The transition time is smaller. But So whatever I am giving from the complementary feeding time should be nutrient dense. So after introducing them to the single foods, then I start combining them. It's so sad. And sometimes I cry for some babies, because as soon as the mother identifies a particular food that the child likes, they keep repeating the same food morning, afternoon, evening, morning, afternoon, evening. That's what the child is eating. But it's not supposed to be. The way you have your porridges in the morning, give the child a different porridge every morning. We have the Tom Brown, different types of Tom Brown constitution combinations. Then we have the millet porridge, we have the corn porridge, we have the wheat porridge, we have the sorghum or the Guinea corn porridge. We have all these things available. Oats, we blend it and make it more smooth. We include them. And that's a one meal. Then if the child is not chewing, is like the toddlers, and they are not chewing, you can blenderize what you are eating as jollof rice. You blend everything together, add their oil, preferably olive oil, a little salt to taste, and you give it to them. If you are eating your own meal and they show interest, you still allow them. But whatever they would have eaten on their own will be rich enough in nutrients to help sustain them. But there are some parents, oh, me yama now, when I do it, the child doesn't eat it. Whatever you are giving to the child, you should be able to eat it and also enjoy it. Because if the combinations are done well, you have added mackerel, smoked, what we call salmon, smoked one that is soft, and when you blend it becomes smooth, or chicken breast, and you've added kounsusa, you've added onion, you've added carrot, maybe you've added pumpkin, and there is rice, there's tomatoes, there's onion. So it can be something small in a bowl, but look at all these nutrients represented. Then the child will eat that blenderized jollof rice. Then if you are eating your fufu in the evening, just blend the cassava or blend the sweet potato, mix it with the granule soup or the palm nut soup. That is the child's fufu, and is nutrient dense enough. If the child eats 10 or 6 soup ladles, is enough oil, enough of all the nutrients. Then the last one is the quantity. Never use your own stomach size to measure the amount of food your child should eat. Please, let's not do that. We are killing the children on didi, and you find out from their dietary history, the child is eating enough. And you measure assess all their parameters in terms of anthropometric measurements, and the child is fine. Please, it's more of nutrient density than food quantity. And when you do that, your child will be healthy and will be strong nutritionally. Now look at the eating environment. We have different types. Different ways. The traditional ones, they are on the floor, and they've spread out the food. The child is observing how mommy is eating, how daddy is eating. These are things that they will learn outside, if compared to you serving the child alone. Let's look at the one at the right down. The entire family is eating vegetables. You can see that you can say that they took it for the pictures, but everybody has been served vegetables and we are eating. The child will say, I don't like this. Oh, chew it and see. Maybe next time I can add this vinaigrette to make it more tasty. These are things that we can include. The eating environment is paramount, as I mentioned earlier. Now, look at it. The cereal that has been fortified. For our busy schedule, most of us is about Cheerios and cornflakes, giving the child that all the time. In our setting, we rarely even let a child like that feed themselves. We want to feed them because we want to hurry up and go and do our stuff. But let the child develop by eating on their own. Now, look at the way the food has been displayed on our right, like a clown. There is bread, there is bacon, the egg is there. Look at how it has been displayed. I know some people who will just take a cookie cutter and use it to mold the rice that the child is to eat and put it on the plate. Okay, so now can we eat the nose of the chicken or whatever shape it is? Then they will eat the nose. Oh, can we eat the wings? These are the playful environments that we have to bring in the child for the child to eat enough to maintain good health. The balance that I mentioned, I've given enough. Then the variety, a lot of variety. On our top left corner, you realize that these are the things we are buying, the fast pre-packaged foods, processed foods. We have the money, but we don't have the time to cook fresh foods in the house. The flavor alone that comes with mommy in the kitchen cooking or daddy in the kitchen cooking is a memory that children keep forever. Please, let's not rob them of this memory. You going for the noodles and all those, you come, you just open, These are high in preservatives, high in sodium, high in trans fat. And these are the blocks, the building blocks that you are giving to your child. And that's the investment that you want the child to grow with. When you are gone, grown and gone, then the child will be battling with conditions that they had no hand in when they were children because you decided for them. So we are looking at variety that is more geared towards freshly cooked foods compared to the processed foods that we have. Now look at nutrient density foods. We have a lot. The TZ that children, I know many children like the TZ, but are you going to buy it from outside that is filled with saltpeter and salt and all the yemadie? The child is not getting a lot of protein from that yemadie, but it has a lot of visceral fat. So the green leafy vegetables, very good with all the fat soluble as well as the micro or the water soluble vitamins. The tuwo that is used, the tuwo is soft in texture, so children are able to eat it. But if I'm giving the tuwo to a child and I'm preparing it in the house, I can mix the tuwo with some soybean powder, or I can make my own soybean dough where I have soaked the soybean overnight and I blend it into a smooth consistency, bag them into the freezer. So if I want to prepare banku, I add the soybean to it. So if the child will want to eat only the tuwo, it's a complete meal because I've added the soybean to it. And look at the okra stew. For a child, the particles in the okra stew, the child might want to throw up. So with this, the whole family is eating okra stew, but I'll further blend the okra stew for the child so that they won't have chance in it that they have to throw up. With the oto, when we are mashing it, we add groundnut paste to it. So if a child can just nibble on the oto alone, it's a nutrient-dense meal with all the palm oil and the others that we add to. The porridges, the mpotompoto, the abom and ampesi, we are all eating ampesi with the child's own, that's an infant own. I can mash the ampesi and add the abom to it to give to the child. There's avocado here that we can add. So these are ways that we can use to make the food nutrient dense. Now, even with the eto, look, someone has used a ripe plantain to prepare porridge. So it's not all the time that we know porridge to be either corn porridge or Hausa cocoa or all those things, or the mpoto that we know, that we use either yam or cocoyam. This we can do with ripe plantain, and it is tasty. Children will love it, and it can be nutrient dense as well. This is the guinea corn or the sorghum porridge. And with this, I can do porridge alone. If the child doesn't like milk, I can add the soybean milk, or you can do chickpea. Chickpea is also in Ghana. It's more good generally for gender. There are some studies that show that if soybean has a lot of estrogen compared to the chickpeas. So it might not be good for males compared to females. But whatever it is, if we are to mix the porridge with some soybean powder or mixture, it will also be a complete meal, even in the absence of the added milk. Then we have the ebunebunu, we have the katenkwine, the groundnut soup, we have the palm nut soup. This can be added for an infant who has started eating. I just pick my palm nut soup that I will blend the fish in it, add the corn porridge to it, a thick corn porridge. I'll add it to the soup. So the child is eating banku and palm nut soup. That's nutrient dense enough, and the child will have enough from these food. Now, fruits. These should not be rationed for children. In fact, especially if you have teenagers and children who are from 10 years, they always want to nibble on something. They want to get energy to do their stuff. So we have to make these fruits available. I've not said the juices, because these juices are devoid of the fiber that comes from fruits, and most of them too have preservatives and added sugar. But if I have banana and my child goes around place and comes for a finger of banana, I'll be more happier than the child going for a juice that has a lot of sugar and other preservatives added. And I've already mentioned the micronutrients that we get from these fruits. You can't have it less. You will help your child more than what you think you are wasting your money. Someone will say, hey, you are going to the market, you spend 100 cedis on fruit alone. It's an investment that will prevent many diseases coming your way and the way of your family. Now we have the fortified ones. These are the ones, unfortunately, we want the supplemented nutrients. We don't want the original ones from the food. But most of these cereals too have been fortified with nutrients, especially vitamin A, vitamin K, and they've added these nutrients, and some to vitamin C. You can see from the juice they've added calcium and vitamin D. So it is expected that when you drink this juice, it helps with your bone health, better absorption of your calcium because of the presence of vitamin D. But you realize that with these cereals, they come with the preservative, the salt, then the added sugar, as well as the carbohydrates that have been used. Most of them are refined, so they are easily absorbed. Then the sugar that has been added, these are foundations that we don't want to make our children start from. It can be added. Maybe this can be once in a week stuff, but it shouldn't be every day the go-to meal because you are so busy, you can't cook or do anything. And this is because when our children are growing, I know elsewhere from the age of, I think 8 or 9, with supervision, children can start cooking. Some of the easy things like the breakfast porridge, you let them observe you for a while, and in your presence, whilst you are doing something, they will be cooking their own breakfast or breakfast for the entire family. So we have to start engaging as they cook. They appreciate the process than you letting them sit somewhere thinking that they will get hurt. So you won't let them get involved. Teach them so that will also relieve you of the time you need to spend. Now, in terms of quantity, this is a typical my plate. We call the concept my plate. So with the my plate, there's a vegetable portion, there's the grain portion, there's a protein, and the fruit portion. So as I'm serving my child, can I see some grains? And the grains we are talking about are the whole grains. If it is porridge, it's unsieved. If it is yam, plantain, sweet potato, these are all complex carbohydrates that are healthy. Then we have the protein part, which can be beans, it can be any of the animal protein sources, then the fruits I mentioned, then the different vegetables. If we are able to get this combination, your child will never grow above the weight for their age. because they are eating the right calories for their energy, the energy that they need. So there won't be some left to be stored. Let's have this concept in mind to help the children have a better foundation. The food should be tasty with all the combinations I've talked about. If the food is not nice, please forget it. Even you don't like vegetables, because when we tell you to take the cream, salad cream, and the mayonnaise from it, it doesn't become as nice as if those things are in it. Please, the food should be appetizing and tasty. So that means we have to be intentional in what we are adding. Not that we are adding so much oil for it to be tasty, but our grandmothers, they didn't have many things, but they combined meals to make it more delicious and tasty. Let's make it like that, and our children will not want to eat anywhere. This afternoon, I had an experience. I wasn't well, so a family friend cooked some meals, palava sauce, for me. And I served my son with rice. And he asked, Mommy, did you cook the stew? And I said, no, why? It's okay. I saw his plate, and the plate still had the stew in it, because he saw that it wasn't my handwriting palava sauce. So we should make it tasty, as well as being conscious of its nutrient density to provide more benefit to the body. A child's future is based on the nutritional foundation they gain after exclusive breastfeeding. But the food should not necessarily be expensive. We should source it from our local setting, especially foods that are in season, foods that are in our locality, foods that are within our budget. And we can combine these things to provide rich nutrient sources for the health of our children. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Auntie, for this presentation. Please, I hope you can hear me now. Our dear participants, I hope you've benefited much from this presentation. I have benefited myself. I've come to learn that actually children are the real representations of our nutritional status and what we eat at home. So if you want to really know what a parent is doing, try and get in contact with their children, and you get to understand their nutritional status. And I've also come to realize that good nutrition is all about love. I mean, if you are putting enough consciousness in what you are preparing, it will benefit the body well. So it's not about the money you invest into the food, but how intentional you are in putting little things together to get a good source of nutrition for yourself, for your family, as well as for your little ones. Please, do we have any question please, if you have any questions, feel free. Okay. All right, so I can see one person's hand up, even Amay. So kindly unmute yourself so that we can attend to your question.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. And this is a wonderful presentation that we've all listened to. I'm very grateful for this opportunity to be given to us to listen to presentation. My question is, so aside, is it advisable to also give multivitamins to your kids after giving all these well-prepared food to them? It's become a trend that, okay, these days, if you have a young kid, you have to give them multivitamins, the well baby, the zinc of it and all that. Is it necessary to add it to their diet? That's my question. Thank you.
Okay. Please let me be clear on the question. Is it that your baby or your child is well, or it was recommended, or you just want to give the baby multivitamins because you heard it on the street that, okay, children are supposed to take some multivitamins?
Well, just as they are born, I mean, it's something that is recommended. It's not as if that the baby is sick or the baby is ill, but then it's like it has to come with it.
Thank you for your question. RDA4, please, did you get his question, or I should repeat it for your benefit? Okay, so I think we should type our questions for her benefit so that she can address them for us. So I'm trying to type Eben's question for her to address. Even I hope I typed your question well for you. You can read it in
Okay,
the
so the question is it advisable for babies to receive multivitamins when they are receiving good nutrition? It is not needed. In fact, from children to adulthood, if you are eating very well, God has made our bodies in such a way that the body prefers taking nutrients and chemicals it needs from our food intake than any supplementation. People who benefit from supplementation are those who are so deficient from that particular nutrient. But if you are in a healthy state and you are taking multivitamin, I'm sorry, you are wasting your money. You are rather overwhelming the body to eliminate it. The body does not need it. So a baby who is eating well, breastfeeding, and is all right, does not need any multivitamin unless the doctor sees that there is the need. But for you, the mother, most of the time, the reasons why doctors add this is the mothers complain that the babies are not eating well. And as I mentioned earlier, you are using your own quantities to measure how the child should eat. But if the child is in a good nutritional state, then there is no need for any supplementation. Thank you.
Okay. Eben, I hope your question has been well addressed. You can give me a thumbs up if you don't want to unmute yourself. Okay. Please, aside Eben's question, is there any other question from our participants? Kindly type it in the chat box so that our facilitator can address it. Please, let's get interactive. Okay, else the presentation, this whole meeting will be 1 week, okay? But if you have any questions, if you heard something somewhere nutritionally and you want it to be addressed, please feel free and type it in the chat box so that we can address it for you before you leave here.
At the age that a child should be completely taken off. In fact, if you have time, some have even breastfed up to 6 years, but the healthy age is 2 years. The first 1,000 days of a child's life. So it's up to 2 years. So after you starting exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months, introducing complementary feeding, then you should be topping up. You can say that that is the dessert of the child. As you go forward, it's just topping up, but at least the little that the child takes, as the child grows, the combination and the composition of the breast milk is also adjusted to meet the child's need. So up to 2 years is what research has shown that it's a must that we must all try to breastfeed for the child to get the optimum from the breast milk. So I think that answers that. Then is it developmentally appropriate for a child of 1 year and 2 months to exhibit a strong preference for breast milk over other food sources? So I can't tell right now. Children are in their personalities and other things. But if you've tried all the other factors, the food environment, checking that the taste of the food is wonderful, making the food more appetizing in terms of how you even arrange it or mold it in the bowl, trying to include the entire family to enjoy the meal, storytelling around the food. If all these factors has been looked at and the child still prefers the breast milk after 1 year, how many months? 2 months. I think that one, the child will grow lean, or the weight will be lower than the age, and that will be a problem. So let's look at all the other factors before we can give in that is only breast milk that the child will want. Sometimes it's the feel of the nipple in their mouth, but whatever it is, let's look at all the other strategies. If the child can take 2 or 3 spoons of a meal within 3 hours, that should be enough, and that should supplement the breast milk as the child takes it. When are infants supposed to transition from pureed meals to soft, then normal diet? God has programmed the body in a way that the child will start exhibiting some interest as you are eating. And the child is observing, mommy is smiling. Whenever mommy is eating like this, she is smiling. Let me see what she is eating. It's possible that by then the none of the teeth is even out. But the child will be using the gum. If it is rice, they can pick one grain and will be munching on it. And gradually they will be transitioning from the pureed foods to the normal family foods. But mostly, if they don't have teeth yet, we still include the pureed foods, because for that one, we know that it can be nutrient dense, because you are mixing everything together. It's not based on the choice of whoever is feeding the child. Like if I'm giving you fufu, if an adult is eating fufu, some people will take the fufu and throw away the soup. That is by choice. That means the meal itself was nutrient dense, but based on their choice, they have chosen what they like and what they don't like. But with the pureed food, you are sure that nothing can be taken out. Everything is in it. So till the child is able to eat healthy in terms of quantity and in terms of combination of the family meal, we still include the pureed meals. And after all, the pureed meals, the porridges are all pureed. So it's with us throughout our lives. But the combinations I mentioned, so far as the child, the teeth of the child has not fully developed, we try to include that so they are able to chew enough of the combinations. Okay. What should I do to encourage my kids to eat, especially breakfast? The first question I'm asking is, are you eating your breakfast as the mother or father? That is daddy and mommy eating their breakfast. If you are not, please don't be a signboard. When you are a signboard, then that's where the issue is. But when they see that I'm walking my talk, whatever I'm telling you, I'm also doing the same thing. They are emulating. So you can do martial law, is like you have to, but they will be eating out of compulsion, not because they are seeing mommy enjoying it. Please practice what you preach. You sit down, find time. You should all eat. Sometimes we are eating in the car because of time. His food is at the back, he's eating, and mine too is by my side. When we are in traffic, I eat and we are going on. By the time we get to our destination, all of us have eaten our breakfast. That's where we find ourselves. So look at how you can make it to encourage the child to eat. Yeah. Kids take lunch to school and return without opening. They are hungry too. So you find out the school, do they provide any food? If they provide any food, it's possible they may want the school food than the house food. So I say that at least I have control over 2 of their meals, their breakfast and their supper. So if the child wants to take the school meal, then I'll make the house meal as nutrient dense and tasty as possible. Because some of the meals they send to school, by the time it is lunchtime, the temperature alone does not make the food appetizing. So if the school cooks, let them eat. Whatever is served, let them eat. They are exploring. After all, they will be in the world where you are not there. So let them explore. But if the school does not cook, then you have to find out the reasons why they don't eat and talk to them as human beings, not that you are you are doing master says, but talk to them why they need to. And you can find some smart children, they will throw the food away and come back and tell you they've eaten. But these are truthful children. So let them know if these factors fall in, pick whichever will help for them to eat their lunch. Thank you. What are nutritional advice? What nutritional advice can you offer us with infants that have developed a strong taste for sweetened drinks over whole grain foods? Yay, a mistake that you have done. So I forgot to mention this. In introducing complementary feeds, children do not need sugar to be added to their meals. If you've ever tasted the breast milk, there is nothing like sugar in it. In fact, it is not nice. But you see the baby taking the breast milk and just clacking their tongue up at the upper palate as like they've gotten corned beef that they are chewing. So in feeding children or like introducing complement, the first thing is, please, if you are done giving birth, please advise those who are, don't add any sugar to their meals. Don't use your own taste buds to teach them to things that in your adult we are trying to tell you to stop eating. Don't introduce them to it. Then with the sweetened drinks, what you can do is that since they've already been introduced, gradually wean them from the fizzy ones to the fruit juices. Then from the fruit juices, you can even do carrot juice plus some fruits. So that carrot is sweet. So you do carrot, then you add, now mango is in season, the large ones you add, and it's sweetened. So what you can do is you put it in containers that you freeze them. When they take it to school, by the time they are ready, it is chilled enough and they enjoy it. The other, as you are doing this, let them know the effect of these fizzy drinks on their health. When they know it, you don't have to talk a lot. I won't say they won't eat or they won't drink it at all, but it won't be as frequent as they do now. I don't prevent my child from taking, but we don't buy it in the house for you to have access to it. There is fruit there always. There's orange, there is mango. Mango is in season. There is banana there. So you can take it. And we have yogurt too there. You realize that the child now prefers these drinks that are available. Once in a while, when we go out and someone serves, he can't even finish one glass because from childhood, he never added any sugar to his food. So it's something that we have to start right from the introduction of their meals. But what they've already been introduced, so start weaning them off the fizzy drinks, include combine fruits and vegetables as juice, especially the carrots and the other fruits, then try to include whole fruits, and whilst giving them the knowledge of the effects and the benefits of both. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Artie. I would say a very thank you for honoring our program. You've really I believe, digested this topic to the benefits of our participants, and we appreciate you for that. She's a registered dietitian, as I said earlier, at the Komfo Teaching Hospital. She has practiced over a decade and currently
You are welcome.
owns
Thank
one.
you too for
Okay,
the
right now you can
opportunity.
hear us, right? I believe you can hear me now, Adifa. Okay, I think she's still having that problem. But she's a CEO of Enjoy Your Health Consult, is around Anokye area, and MELGoshen Foods that aims in providing professional nutritional services. So you can always contact her. We would leave her details in the chat box. But we are KNUST Wellness Center, and we happen to host this program. We are honored to have our chairperson in the name of Professor Ip.1. Is she still on the line? For all our participants, hello, Professor Odro.
Yes,
Please,
dear.
can you hear me? All
I
right,
can
please, you
hear
can give
you,
us
yes.
a word. All right, thank you for joining us. You can give us a word or two, and we'll equally appreciate it.
Oh, I think this is a good platform, which if each of us will extend invitation to others, because people are really struggling with the issue of diet, nutrition, a lot of misinformation and so on. So this is like bringing the solution to the society. So I think we should encourage, and those of us who are dietitian or nutritionists should, because we interact with people, let them get involved and come and learn more on this platform. And I think I want to say congratulations to the team, the organizing team, and let's keep on forcing and inviting people. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Ibokodro. Thank you for honoring our program. I'm privileged to host today's episode, and I'm in the name Elizabeth Joshua Patton. I happen to be a registered dietitian currently practicing at the University Hospital, KNUST. So you can always pass by the Wellness Center and you'll find myself or any of my reps there between the hours of 8 to 2. Or you can pass by the hospital, the University Hospital, on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We do run OPD clinics. You can come there whether you're diagnosed with a condition, a nutrition-related condition by a doctor, or you can come there and see me for nutritional advice and I'll equally attend to you. Thank you so much for our participants and those that we invited for honoring this program. I'm very humbled that you honored it. Thank you so much. You can also visit us on our handles on Instagram or X, formerly Twitter, at the KNUST Wellness Center, so that you can engage us on anything. Please, I hope there are no questions, or do you still have questions? Okay, I believe we've exhausted all our questions. Thank you so much again, RD Efua and Professor Ibokodro, for honoring today's episode. If there are no questions, I would like to end the meeting. So we started with a prayer and we want to end with a prayer. So please, any of our participants should join or mute and pray for us, okay? Else I'll be the one to talk to our faith. Any of our participants, kindly unmute and pray with us so that we can end this program. By name, Theophilus G. Please, can you pray with us? Oh, yeah, busy.
Okay, I'll do that. So can we close our eyes wherever we are? So Heavenly Father, we thank you very much for this meeting. We thank you very much for the insights that we've gained today. We thank you for an opportunity in this bright day to learn something new. We pray that what we've learned will stay with us, and what we've learned will also pass it on to our children. And we pray and thank you for the moderators and all the people who spoke to us today and everybody here. That you continue to touch their lives. You grant them more wisdom and understanding in their fields. We give you glory, give you honor. In Jesus' name we've prayed. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Theophilus. Okay, so
Amen. Thanks.
thank you. Thank you once again. Please, we'll be holding this session, nutritional segment, every month. So when we send you the flyers, you can share with a friend so that we'll increase in number and knowledge and wisdom nutritionally. Okay. So we'll look forward to seeing you in our next nutritional segment. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.